Okay, so let's get started on our afternoon session, post-lunch session, and research presentations. We have our fourth research paper for the day by Mrinmoy Roy and his PGDM student Paneri Desai, right? Mrinmoy is a PhD scholar in operations research and management from Mitchell School of Business, Lovely Professional University, and currently working as assistant professor of health and hospital management, right, in Institute of Health Management Research, Bangalore, right? And he's a pharmacy graduate with MBA in International Business and MSc Computer Science. And he's a certified good clinical practice and good pharmacy practice professional from Faculty of Pharmaceutical Medicine, Royal College of Physicians, UK. And he's also worked with key organizations like Cipla, Lupin, Glenmark Pharmaceuticals before joining IIHMR. And he's also worked with AstraZeneca Pharma as strategic marketing manager, right? We would really we are really excited to hear about the concept of developing an unbiased AI, and we are happy to see that it is in quotes. And this is particularly for predicting Alzheimer's much before the onset of its real symptoms. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. I hope I'm audible to everyone. Yeah, and for the online participants also. So thank you so much for the session chair, Professor Lakshmi and Dr. Spurti, and thank you Shubha ma'am also. And I'd like to thank other organizers also. So the thing is, what we are going to discuss today is Alzheimer's disease, which is starting with dementia, and also Alzheimer's is the 60 to 70% of the dementia. If we take the statistics of worldwide, there are 55 million people already actually affected, and every year 10 million people are added up on this. So in that, it's the seventh highest mortality factor all over the world. And not only that, there's a problem in detecting it. We don't even recognize that who is the person who will be getting dementia or who is the person who will be getting Alzheimer's in the context of the disease, whether they'll be developing it or not. Maybe they start with forgetting things, start with forgetting relationships. Okay, start with forgetting whom they met and what actually they eat. Maybe in the lunch also. It starts with like that. We have seen movies like Gajini. It is not like Gajini kind of thing, but it is movies like Uri, where the lady was forgetting where she's supposed to go. And even in the movie like Okay Janu, okay, that's a remake of a South movie. Okay, so the thing is, they are shown how they cannot even recognize who the person is she's talking to. It's just similar to maybe I cannot find out where I belong to. So that is how it starts with 10 to 20 years before the clinical symptom appears. So here is our research, me and my student. What we are doing is, it's a proof of concept mainly. And we are doing actually working on the algorithm part and also the decision science part also, and design science part, even developing a product particularly to. And worldwide, if I say right now, the status is there are few studies actually happened with PET scan, positron emission tomography. Okay, but we are talking here about fMRI, which is functional MRI. Okay, so I'll be starting with the background of what is MRI and what is functional MRI once again. So with that, with the setting up the context, I'm just taking a few minutes to set up the context because we have to know that what we are dealing with, first of all, because it's a healthcare and also medical part. So in that case, if I, it's not actually changing. Okay, yeah. So this is the statistic what I was talking about. And not only that, it is also even a problem with the Indian patients and mild cognitive impairment. That starts with the forgetting things. These are the symptoms mainly what we are dealing with, and it starts with 10 to 20 minutes, 10 to 20 years before the clinical symptom appears, and that is how it happens. And it is once considered as one of the public health problem that is seriously affecting millions of people right now. And not only that, the risk of developing AD increases with age. So if you ask me, more 50 to 60 group of age of people, they'll be seeing here in the Southeast Asian countries like India, China, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. So in that case, we are very much prone to this kind of disease. Okay, so we don't know what is the cause, but that is the thing what we are going to do in terms of detecting it. So in that case, what the people with AD care for? Maybe in home, maybe a nursing assistant will be there every time, 24/7, 365 days. whether it is affordable. Maybe for some people, but for not for everyone. And assisted living facilities like hospice and also for nursing homes. And if I say like what is happening for the outer context of the patients, what is happening in the brain of the patients. So we are talking about neurons. In the morning also, there are hybrid neurons. You are talking about that, how we are creating it. So what is happening during this scenario where neuron getting dried up, if we say in a layman's understanding. The thing is the oxygen level and also the glucose level, because we already heard about that, yes, our brain cannot withstand. Oh, sorry, then, okay, yeah. Okay, so if I be here, then it's okay? Okay, so most of the time what happens, like we say that, yes, if we are getting sunstrokes. Why we are getting sunstrokes? Because the water content is not reaching up to that level and water is actually carrying forward oxygen. So our brain cannot withstand more than 5 minutes without oxygen. That's why we are getting strokes. Same thing happens for the neurons in the molecular level. It is getting dried up, and without that water molecule, without that oxygen molecule, they cannot communicate with each other. They cannot send the signals, which is the calcium, which is the even NaCl also, like potassium and chlorine. By that way, they're actually exchanging the informations. Okay, so that is how it happens. And this is the thing what can be detected through fMRI or MRI, which is as of now done through PET scan. Okay, so the changing brain, if you see, this is the PET scan copy of the left-hand side, which is the healthy brain or normal brain. And here is the PET scan copy of Alzheimer's disease brain. So it is getting dried up. If you see, most of the part is getting blue color. That is how it is. And where there is oxygen, that is coming up as red and yellow color. So preclinical AD. So preclinical AD actually starts, as I said, forgetting things. Okay, we forget our keys. That is not like everybody is getting AD or everybody getting dementia, because in our usual life, we are forgetting so many things. Even we forget our spouse anniversary date or something like that, and we are getting beaten up. So it happens. Okay, but the thing is here, the thing is like science of AD first noticed in the endothelial cortex, which is here or here like this. So it is getting dried up. That is the blue part. Okay, so it can be detected through fMRI and MRI, where there is very minimal studies have been done as of now. Okay, so then it comes like it is engulfing the entire brain part by part, which is the mild to moderate AD. Then it comes severe AD, where there is huge requirement of somebody which will be holding the hand and taking the person to anywhere he or she wants to go. That is how the things actually severe. That is the severity or the pathogenesis of the disease. So here is like the thing is like pictures of brain which is degrading. So these are the scan copies. All are like that. So it is becoming like a kind of a coconut. If we see in from our outer world or even layman's understanding. So a healthy brain becomes a coconut. Okay, and it is getting dried up from the inner end. So that is how it is. So these are the warning signs. Okay, so how like memory or loss of the disrupt daily life, even forgetting relationships. Okay, confusion with dates, and also not only that, cannot recognize the currency. Like for them, 5 rupees and 5 lakh rupees is same. They doesn't even recognize that what it is. Even they recognize that yes, it is a currency, but they cannot differentiate it. That's how it happens. Even mood swings and changes in personality. Okay, maybe the person cannot even remember that what you are saying or he or she was saying just 5 minutes back. It happens. Okay. So that is the thing, like importance of early diagnosis. What actually we can achieve by diagnosing it. So that can be happening like we can involve a lot of people in terms of treating them through proper medications. Because by the time the person will be finding out that the person will be happening or having this disease, it will be already 90% gone. We cannot even rejuvenate the brain cells or the neurons. Okay, we cannot oxygenate them. We cannot send some fluid which will be acting as kind of a exchanging information between the neurons. So it happens in this way. And also there is an opportunity to create some database system, which is we are lacking. Frankly speaking, in India, healthcare data is fragmented everywhere. 80 to 90% is fragmented. That's why the problem is actually we are facing for privacy security as well as EHR and EMR. That is why all the IT companies are working on that aspects, right? So these are the stages. Like mild cognitive impairment, it starts with all individuals' age and education depends on them. It doesn't mean that it will be only happening through the 50 or 60s. It may happen earlier also. And if we detect that, there is a possibility that we can treat the patient well. Maybe it is actually reversible in that stage, kind of a cancer kind of thing, if we say. So here is the thing like early stage, then mild stage, middle stage, and also later stage. So these are the things like how we can detect it. There are some questions what neuropsychiatrists, psychologists are asking to the patients and their beneficiaries. How they're asking like forgets material, just read, losses or misplaces objects. This starts with early stage. Then comes middle, like ask same questions over and over. Every time it's repeated, like kind of a cassette phans jana. Matlab ki if the song is moving, if the cassette you're playing, it will be just repeating, almost similar. Then late stage, like unable to communicate with words, becomes incontinent. Okay. So then comes how we are diagnosing it. A detailed patient history. Okay, we are getting the case history of the patients, maybe longitudinal data. Okay, that is what I'm telling like we are lacking. Information from family and friends, how they're behaving. Then also physical and neurological exams and lab tests, and neuropsychological tests and imaging tools, such as CT scans, PET scans, MRI. So as of now, all over the world, there is only PET scans and few MRIs been done to actually gather the data. But what is our idea? Our idea is fMRI, which is far more advanced than the PET scan and MRI. Okay, so how it is advanced, we'll be discussing that thing. First of all, understand the physics of it. Like we have heard in our +2, right? So we are creating or resonating some sound and we are getting the distance, okay, of sea level or something like that. Same thing happens for this thing. It is almost similar. So MRI is a cool and useful picture. These are the pictures which is we are getting through 2D slices extracted from 3D, which is volumetric image. And the resolution, as I say, there is a huge number of data is required for generating this kind of like if you want to train the data or train the algorithm for this kind of data. Okay, so fMRI is also about functional and temporal structure. How it is different from MRI? So it is only anatomical structure for MRI. For fMRI, it is metabolic function. And also it is a bold signal, which is actually blood oxygen level dependent. Okay, if there is oxygen, then it will be actually finding out, yes, the neuron is working, the neuron is active. If there is no oxygen, it will be finding that, yes, the neuron is passive, it will not working. So in that case, also studies water molecules, hydrogen nuclei. So as I said, it's a MRI, magnetic resonance imaging. That means it is creating a magnetic field. We are sending one signal, then after that, that H molecule or the hydrogen molecule giving it back. By that way, we are finding the entire thing. That is how the entire thing happens. And also here, it calculates level of oxygen. That is the difference between, basic difference between MRI and fMRI. And the third point is views high resolution of the difference between tissue types with respect to space. For MRI, here's view the tissue difference with respect to time. So it's a kind of, as I said, longitudinal data. Once again. Okay, so here is the thing, pictorially, actually I have represented. So one active neuron is having oxygen, passive neuron doesn't have oxygen. This is the molecular structure, oxygenated and deoxygenated. Just simple chemistry, okay. And here have different magnetic resonance for MRI as well as fMRI, and for oxygen as well as oxygenated as deoxygenated. And we are distinguishing it by MRI. That is how we are getting the data. That is the process. So what is functional imaging? Once again, like we are getting the bold signal and also we are getting activation dependent on the signal distorts. As I said, we are sending the signal is actually striking into the hydrogen molecule, coming back. Okay, by that we are measuring it. And neural activity consumes oxygen. So on activation, there is a momentary decrease in blood oxygenation. So there is one more problem. The thing is, these kind of images or this kind of like signals is very noisy. Like if we remember, we are all 80s keys maybe. So in that case, I'm 80s keys. So the thing is, we are remembering Doordarshan, how it is starting their own transmission, right? They're starting with hazy sound sometimes. So that PET scan or MRI will be that kind of noise. So to finding out or sensitivity or maybe like blood flow peaks after 6 seconds, that is how I'll be getting it. We'll be getting through fMRI, which is can be reduced. I'll be talking into that in my next couple of slides. It is already there. So this is the synopsis. This is the molecular action, how it has been done. And if you want me to take, but with the interest of time, I'm just flowing it through. The thing is, I have just given an overview like how it's been done. It's all are there. Even slides we can also share. Okay. So this is the thing, like we are getting the entire thing longitudinally. See here with the respect of time, we are just measuring it. And here you see like signal increase caused by change in H2O surroundings. And more oxygenated hemoglobin is present, then it will be giving different signal, which is we can detect. That is how fMRI can be detected. So this is how we are getting the entire data. These are the graphs. So how it's been 3D imaging consists of 20 to 30 slides of that. Then one 3D slice contains 64 into 64 voxels. That means that image, as I said in the morning also, like can be collected in the PAC server, then can be actually interoperable, also can be used with the text. And then after that, it can be trained to the machine learning algorithms. Okay, so like that, physically each voxel corresponded to 2 millimeter into 2 millimeter into 2 millimeter. So all these things depends on these three-dimensional images. Okay, so how the data pre-processing happens. So it is each voxel acquired at a different time point of TR. Okay, so that is means like we are talking about iterations. Here also we are doing same kind of thing, the iterations. So many times, as I said, like we are sending one signal, the signal got struck into the hydrogen molecule, it is coming back. We are repeatedly doing that to finding out the mean, and also we are getting the data in that way. Okay, then head motion correction, like employ motion corrections algorithm, and also normalizations, like involves multiple of subjects and standard brain atlas developed. Then the objective is, it's a powerful technique. You already know, I have given the background also, and how it's been done to identify the cognitive state of the human subject when the patient or any victim who is actually having this kind of symptoms like forgetting things. If we can start that with those patients, maybe we can predict earlier, maybe 10 to 20 years earlier, which is actually our study 6 years only. As of now, we have not yet tested furthermore because we are in the development stage. So in that case, we can test more in terms of the longitudinal data. Okay, so that's how the things are, and popular classification techniques can be applied. Like there are IT peoples also here, so they can understand these things like Gaussian bias and also k-nearest neighbors and support vector machines. So we can train this kind of data with these algorithms, and we can develop that further. And next is the process. As I said, like this data is noisy, and this noise we have to remove. How we'll be removing the noise? I'm directly coming into multi-voxel pattern analysis, which is MVPA, which is mainly response find voxels show statistically significant responses. They average the voxels, and also MVPA uses pattern classification algorithm. Okay, by that way, the voxels decode the pattern of brain activity, which is reducing the noise, increasing the sensitivity. So it's a novel idea once again. Like the thing is, it's been not been done. It's a proof of concept. It's a theory, but the thing is, you have to practicalize it mainly with the data. But data is not available as of now. I'll be talking about that also. The thing is, why fMRI? Once again, see if you see the pictures here. Okay, so this gives you the entire thing. It is not only taking the materialistic image or even the mainly like detecting the activity of neurons. It is also detecting the reflect blood flow. And even not only that, it is giving a clear demarcation of oxygenated versus deoxygenated blood. And it gives a above MRI best option to get brain mapping and retrieving the data. So as of now, no such study has been done. If we do it, that will be actually the first study in the entire world what can be done. But we need accurate data. We need the reprocessing of those data. Okay, so next is like earlier studies. As I said, it has been published in radiology. And by Ding et al., they done that study with PET scans. Okay, but PET scans images are only through proteins and glucose, not with oxygen. These studies are only done with this kind of thing, but we'll be not getting the enough data related to the neurons, because the neurons without oxygen are becoming passive. So by that way, the idea is we're getting the entire data to find out whether the person or the patient is suffering with AD or dementia. That will be only depend on fMRI. Okay, so how the things are, like the brain of the person with Alzheimer's, if you see, as I said, it just can resemble a coconut from the outside. Okay, but there is no water inside. So that is how it is. And this related earlier works, the study has been done with Adni. Okay, so Alzheimer's Disease Neuroimaging Institute in US, they have taken up the data and they have trained their algorithm. They have actually got this entire thing, and they have once again get the entire prediction model with PET scan. So our idea is we'll be doing it, and even not only that, the entire algorithm has been tried with UCSF memory and aging data also. So the thing is, they only had PET scan data, but our idea is we'll be doing with fMRI. Okay, so this is the thing, like how we are getting ahead with design science research paradigm. We have accumulated theory, and also like we have accumulated scientific and engineering research alongside, and how we are developing the algorithm or product. That will be coming in the further slides. So as we know that we are talking about business, and also we are talking about like how we can make up a model in terms of the for the healthcare society as well, how it will be benefiting the society, and we can also earn some profit in that case. So this is the entire process. Like the algorithm should be accurate enough to give the entire prediction, and also training time, linearity, because it's a longitudinal study. So we'll be studying against the time, and number of parameters and number of features. So we have adopted this process from Muntian M. Their study is already there, which is actually they have done through design science research framework by performance analysis of the algorithms. And this is the thing, like we'll be undergoing this through phases, and almost actually going through the entire research work. And then right now we are in the actually developing stage, like literature review, then system analysis field, case study, and also artifacts engineering. We are actually thinking of developing some case reports also, like with similar kind of patients, maybe like number of patients, maybe we can tie up with the hospitals like Nimhans. Okay, I have spoken with some of the doctors where we can test that for the further development of the algorithm. So that's how the things are going. So what is the proof of concept? As I said, like it can be related through syncing it with BCI, which is brain computer interface. Okay, so and it is an unbiased AI. So it is actually multi-layered clustering algorithm, what we are going to develop. And we need data for that. We'll be actually connecting with all the hospitals, which is mental, psychological, psychiatric hospitals. And even not only that, we can also take up some of the data from the America or maybe other developed countries to compare it. Okay, because these are already there in the open source like platforms. So this is the thing. Like if you ask me like what I'm going to do exactly, so I have put it forward like this. So we'll be using this in terms of electrodes, which is their sensors in measuring the brain signals. It will be connected through amplifiers to reduce the noise and also increasing the sensitivity. So weak signals will be further more amplified. Then after that, computer to decode signals to controlling signals to cooperate device. So these will be having two dimensions, like recording the data reviewed at its electrodes and also interprets or decodes neural signal. So this is the process block diagram mainly. How we'll be accusing data. I've just told it already. I've discussed it. So data preprocessing required, feature extractions, and also training further for developing more accurate algorithm. So next is like online classifications. That is how it is, like multi-layered clustered algorithm will be using and transmit, and then after that control feedback. So as I said, like from the morning itself, I was talking about like EHR and AMR. So data privacy and security also can be taken over, right? So we need help from this gentleman, like we can collaborate on this, and I'm open for collaboration also for anyone, like they can collaborate with me for this research. And if you ask me about the product, like the problem is already there, I have discussed it. So existing alternatives we have already discussed. Cost structure, maybe we can talk about, but the thing is, solution is this thing, like functional MRI. It can detect up to 6 years earlier than diagnosis of the clinical symptoms. And key metrics will be process efficiency, program efficiency, longitudinal patient data to train algorithms. So this is all about the product. And then unique value proposition, as I said, early detection or disease progression. Like if we detect them early, we can treat them early. By that way, we can save the patients and we can save the like beneficiaries also. So even it will be reducing the cost in terms of public health. Okay, it can detect a lot earlier than what is actually there. Then like what will be customer segmentation, like mental hospitals, psychologists, psychiatrists, and also other doctors, maybe like consultant physicians. So the product idea is like this: patient will be coming, they are registering, then examinations will be done. Then after that, diagnosing. Then positive cases means they can go for immediate intervention. If there is no, it is negative, then they can go for screening for after 1 year. Maybe it can develop. Okay, we cannot tell right now. So also maintains a patient registry, which is not there as of now with the longitudinal data. So that can be done with EMR, EHR, or PHR, whatever. Thank you. Any questions? I'm open to. Yeah.
Because everybody said that he is just a case of like aging, and then we lost gradually him to Alzheimer. So I'm always been passionate to drive it. So I was actually thinking of a product idea where we can build some app where we can track the whole progression of Alzheimer's. But this becomes a very good research, the fMRI concept, what you are telling. So is the fMRI scan separate from the MRI scans on the 3D imaging, or like you're extracting?
It's almost similar, but the thing is we need some upgradation of the, means like what is MRI is already having. There are separate devices already available. Those are portable devices also. As I said, we are getting the functional MRI. Functional MRI means it will be getting the details of the oxygenation of the neurons.
Yeah.
So it will be further in depth.
Got it.
But MRI is actually overall. So fMRI is little bit penetration. That is how. And not only that, ma'am, the thing is in the morning itself, Ajay sir was telling about hardware and software. So I have listened to him. So the thing is, this is the hardware part. Software part is actually we are thinking of developing that. The thing is altogether parallelly we are developing. That is how the things are. And only few people are there, me and my student. So that is how actually I'm open to collaboration for that also.
Actually, one thing also what I knew is that in India, they say, is it correlated to vitamin D or something? Because they say that it is more in the Western countries than in India. So kind of correlation you have found of this disease, like it is related to the vitamin D, or say somebody has diabetes. So all these things, or they are more into.
Since I'm a pharmacist, the thing is I worked companies such as Cipla, Lupin, Glenmark, and AstraZeneca. I was also involved with the Covishield vaccine launch here in India. So the thing is, what I can say is vitamin D can be cure. It can be actually, the thing is, as a complementary fact, like for all the diseases, including cancer. Maybe it can develop or it can actually help for further elevating the disease, means like to avoid the disease. But the thing is, whether diabetic patients are getting comorbid conditions, that is already, there are research papers already there, because they are having already some kind of problems in their own anatomy and physiology because of hormonal imbalance, as well as because of glucose and insulin imbalance as well. So it may happen for the pregnant woman also, if the pregnant woman is developing that, because there is also gestational diabetes for 9 months. Okay, because of estrogen and progesterone imbalance. It may happen. Who can tell? There are studies. But the thing is, if I want to study in that, then it will be like we are just debating the objective. So here the objective is like that we can study with the dementia and like maybe like we find out Alzheimer's, okay, and we can detect it further earlier, like 10, 20 years, not 10, 20 years, at least 6 years is okay. Means we can actually save the patients.
So basically why I'm asking, because there are many doctors who evaluate this, but then they say that, okay, it might not be dementia. So that's what we faced.
Yeah.
And in that phase itself, if this fMRI, what you are telling,
Yes.
so the other way of collecting the data can also be, there are people who actually think that they may have dementia or not. So they will also be probably some application or app or mobile app, something, they upload their images or something and you get it collected because they are the one who want to get it scanned.
Yeah. So there are apps, very few, 1 or 2 all over the world. Okay, just like that depression and anxiety apps. Okay, but very few apps are giving accurate data. Okay, means how we can rely on those kind of apps. Okay, the background thing is here. As I said, like it should be a process of how the patient going to the diagnosis. Then after that, if it is not getting diagnosed properly, maybe the negative, okay, then they can once again reappear after 1 year or maybe 6 months. Depends on the stage of the patient. Depends on their beneficiaries, like how they can carry them.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
And
one question, sorry, I just jumped the gun. We were pretty much discussing during lunch the same kind of situation. So what I wanted to know is, how do you get to the data sets? One is through the mobile, one is through the hospitals that you go through. But world over, there are regulations on PIIs and how PIIs have to be shared and things like that. So how do you get to the data? Because data is very important. And you said 6 years and 10 years. So what is the number of data sets that you are actually getting, which will tell you that, okay, 10 years, I can predict
So
in
the
10
thing
years.
is, right now it is under POC. Okay, so that is how actually I just wanted to discuss with him, because these questions are helping us, particularly to develop further, like how we can develop the products. The thing is, while developing the algorithms, we'll be training that with the American data itself right now. But to register and then after that getting the data, we need to get passed through HIPAA and other compliances. Right. That is what is required. And not only that, there is a draft for data privacy and security from Indian government, which is going to pass maybe another 2 years, or maybe I think you can tell from a BDM perspective, like maybe 6 months or 1 year down the line. So through that, if we can get through it, then it will be easier for us or companies who wants to actually have a venture capital or something want to invest on that aspect.
All right.
Similar question, but mainly on the data, because when you build that algorithm, you would have taken, let's say, last 5-year data or maybe 10-year data, and based on that, you have studied that pattern. And then you're saying, okay, now this is the pattern, and then we say it's dementia or maybe Alzheimer. So that part I wanted to understand. When you collect the data, so related to the madam question also, so for the early detection. So now we are doing the diagnosis, But how did you come into that pattern? Because there also we can find the root cause, saying what is the root cause of the detection?
Yeah, so the thing, as I said, like right now there is no Indian data, but very few worldwide data from America itself. So the thing is, we will be developing the algorithm, and during that, we'll be going for agile process. The thing is, every time with small, like kind of a population, we'll be training the data, training the ML actually mainly. Then after that, we'll be finding out whether it is getting the trends or not. So that is our main purpose. And maybe during that time, if we start the registry, maybe we can apply that algorithm to the Indian data sets also.
Yeah.
So maybe-
And I think coming to causation, like vitamin D is causing or whatever, I don't know if it is a tag data. He's talking about deep learning. So it's
Right.
mostly anomaly detection and then classifying.
Yeah.
So you will not be able to know these are the factors that is
Right.
causing, but definitely they can classify dementia versus, you
It's
know,
structural.
that's the only thing. I don't think deep learning really gives you that kind of, yeah, if like ask me,
No,
I am
there will be
very
vitamin D test along with research.
econometrics
Yeah,
is
so
my
if you
favorite. So
do
if one
little bit
uses
on
that
that,
kinds,
Yeah, if you do a little bit that rat path correlation, because we did for oncology. So if you look into biopsy and then
Yeah.
imaging and try to correlate, then you'll get. that
then probably,
information.
yes,
Exactly,
yes.
exactly.
Then across similar features, probably you can get that, but I think it is still in the,
Yeah. So the thing
Yeah.
is, right now the plan is like we'll be right now in POC. The thing is, we'll be generating some more papers on that and more data sets in terms of that, and training the data sets which is already available in open source. And parallelly, we'll be training the data, getting the data from the repository of Indian patients. We have to tie up with the hospitals. That is what our plan is.
But without
you.
really having the technology in hand, and how did you try to come up with that number 6?
The thing is, right now, the registry we can maintain for the
Right.
Indian patients.
Okay.
That will be pen and paper only. Okay. Later, we can feed it up in the like database system.
Yeah. So once you have the technology in hand and then you evaluate it and then you understand how soon we are able to test it and test a patient and try to understand if he has Alzheimer's or no.
Yeah.
Only when you evaluate it, right? So
Yeah.
that could be a little misleading when you try to
Sure,
present if
definitely.
you have number 6 or unbiased AI.
Yeah.
That's one more thing. So I don't think in this fundamental stage, we are yet to say that it's unbiased.
Because it is.
deep learning kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
It is bias and variance. That is the difference.
Oh, the
Yeah.
technical
It is not
thing.
the-
Okay.
it is
The
not-
ethical aspect
Yes,
is
yes.
what I was.
I think you are asking what false positive and false.
Right,
negative,
right.
So right now we cannot able to say
Exactly.
that.
We don't have an evaluation
Yes,
test.
yes,
So,
It will
okay, I
take
was
some time. It is just an initial stage,
right,
like the 0 stage, if we say, for the development of the product. So just an idea, which
right,
is in paper, coming into reality. So that is
Right.
how the things are.
Right.
Because never it's been done in India. And outside only very few studies are done.
got that, got that.
One question.
Yeah. Yes. That is what. There is a company called Map My Genome here in Bangalore. Okay. They're doing that almost similarly like Map My India. Like you want to find out your house in Google Map, you can find it out. Same thing happens for they are creating a kundali of our genes. Okay. They are telling that what kind of disease we are prone to. Okay. And they are giving the entire thing that yes, the predictions are like that. So you should not have this kind of food. You should have this kind of exercises like that. So that is furthermore, the things are like further functionality. But the thing is right now what we have to do is, see longitudinal data as I spoken about, we are actually going for a time series thing. And also we will be doing with lot of normal patients and means like, I'll be not telling them abnormal, but the thing are, they are actually different than the Alzheimer's. We should have those data also to differentiate, to create that, to train the algorithm so that then, as ma'am said, like there should be an app. That app will be having this kind of background. Then app will be giving the entire part of this and questionnaires part, like how we can get it.
One question, what is the percentage of accuracy? Has that been set?
For PET scan, it was, there were 3
For
sets
your
of.
fMRI, the Alzheimer's,
It's
you're
still
still,
under
you're
development. Yeah.
okay, with
So-
the existing data, you cannot
There
give
is
the
very
levels.
few, maybe 5-10 data sets that we cannot train it. So the things are like we
Okay.
are starting and repositioning it, and we are just putting into maybe vault, as I said in the morning also. So
So,
like that way.
yeah, extending Dr. Lakshmi's thought, I was going there as well. So because we were trying to come up with an app for autism spectrum disorder patients in the
yeah.
US. And we didn't get the data that we wanted, but
Yes.
even to get that data, the proof of concept wouldn't work because it has to be evaluated for our claims to have some value.
Yeah.
So that was a huge
Yeah,
issue,
yeah.
especially in the healthcare area. Without a prototype in hand, it could be very difficult for you to get the data or whatever to evaluate it or test it.
And to have the prototype, you need the data. It's like.
So,
And it's a cycle, actually, vicious cycle. So the thing is, what my idea is, will be means developing registry here in Indian data.
Okay.
So that will be helping us parallelly, like we can create a differentiation of the means US data and American data also. That was my idea. So that is how we can develop further. I think I'll.
One question I have.
Yeah.
So here, I mean, MRI is not a common thing, right? Like people, like any doctor would suggest you have to do it. So because you're basing your whole AI on the fMRI images if you generate, right? But I think we should, I'm just thinking, like, don't you have to focus when the doctor should suggest a patient to undergo an MRI? Because that's where that 6 years gap, I mean, I don't know your story which you said, right? Like they might not even diagnose, you have to do an fMRI. So even though we have this wonderful product, I'm just wondering.
Yeah. So the thing is, here comes the thing. Like I'll be telling you about diabetic retinopathy. Retinopathy develops very earlier than the diabetic patients actually getting into diabetes. And one more thing, there's a myth with diabetes because I comes from their family because my father is a diabetic. The thing is, when any person gets to know that a person is diabetic, 50% of beta cells already gone. That means we are asking the remaining beta cells to produce that much number of insulin, which is required for breaking down the glucose, what we are taking our daily food. Okay, so same thing happens for dementia and Alzheimer's also. The thing is, if we detect in terms of this product, like when you are applying that, maybe in hospitals or anywhere, it should not be for all the patients who've been given from the doctors. Okay, maybe for all the patients, it should be open for all. Okay, because dementia or Alzheimer's cannot define the age group. Like it cannot be finally out for 50 or 60 years old. It can happen a little bit earlier also. The forgetfulness, we are also forgetting a lot of things. So I'm not telling that I am a dementia patient or something like that, but it may happen. And it's also a kind of a social stigma. That is how it is. Like people do not want to recognize it and do not want to tell about, do not want to share. So how to break that myth, how to go ahead with testing those patients and predicting this. That is what the entire concept of developing a product. Yeah. Yeah.
I know one thing is shared with you. There is one fact code. So what is the probability to capture your board in 10 years of time?
Yes, yes, yes.
Probability to probability. Yes.
Yes.
Similarly, people have something like an app or a web or something where they can give their questionnaire kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the person is getting suspected or their family members that this person can get you a bad. Then they come to you and they share the data with consent. So that you have the data viral.
Yes.
And you have your data to study your person.
Definitely, ma'am. It's a good idea. I can take it up and I can add it up on that. Really.
Similar things on the cancer detection. Which,
Yeah, it's already there. It's already there. It's already there. The questionnaire part, it's really good. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Mrinmay.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, go
Oh,
ahead.
yeah, please.
So as we see MRI, so patient is staying in the MRI.
Yeah, that Siemens machine inside. Yeah.
So this, is fMRI increasing the time?
No. It's actually like 15-20 minutes only because the machine is similar. The thing is the resonating factor, like we are sending a kind of a physics, as I said, like we'll be sending a signal. The signal will be just striking into the hydrogen molecule of the water. If there is water, then there will be definitely hydrogen molecule. Then it will be coming back, giving us the signal. Okay. That is how same happens for MRI also, but it will be taking overall structure. It will not giving or penetrating that thing. Right? Thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mrinmay. Thank you, everyone. It was wonderful.
Your contacts of,
Yeah.
email ID of-
Happy to collaborate. Actually, I have.
I think they will also share their presentations and details. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Just a moment before Lakshmi could thank you formally. So I'd like to present a small memento to Professor Lakshmi, who's served as a session chair for this session and who's also shared many insightful insights into each of your projects. And I hope all of the insights and the feedback and the discussion that we had in this session would help you in taking your project to the next level. So thank you so much, Professor Lakshmi. Here's a small.
Hey, thanks, Vivian. Thanks.
my personal thing, so whatever. No conflict. Yeah, I'll connect you on that. I think I'm not carrying my card. My job teaching in my college. Okay. And also. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, I'll just, so you all have your. Because I'm finding it out and difficult. That is really, like I have to convince them to follow. And they don't want to actually get into that thing. So they will. Yeah.